council and planning commission meetings in September in person, but we're still working that out, and whether, or do we just start after the state law expires in October? But it's going to be either late, September.
Ready to go, Denise? Are you good? All right, Chair. Looks like we're ready. I'll start the recording.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the July 22nd, 2021 Planning Commission meeting. This meeting is a special meeting and is being conducted utilizing teleconferencing and electronic means consistent with State of California Executive Order number 29-20 dated March 17th, 2020. We are conducting the meeting using the Zoom platform and streaming it live on the city website and broadcasting on Comcast Channel 15, as well as via the city YouTube channel. Public members had the opportunity to submit emails to city staff. A report of all written comments was distributed to Planning Commission members via email and posted to the city's website under documents received after published agenda. And with that, Ms. Chan, can we please take roll call?
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Ali Sullivan.
Good evening. Present.
Commissioner Bonilla.
Present. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Goldstein.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Mendel.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Okenda.
Who do we have? Commissioner Okenda?
Commissioner Okenda. I'll come back to him. Commissioner Stevens.
Here.
Chair Roche.
Here.
Commissioner Okenda. Have we heard from Commissioner Okenda? Does it, Jeremy?
I have not.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chan. And with that, let's move to public comments. The public comment section provides an opportunity to address the Planning Commission on items not listed on the agenda. Ms. Chan, it looks like Commissioner Okenda has come on now. I don't know if you want to.
Commissioner Okenda, are you here?
Yes, I am. Sorry for my tardiness. Just trying to finish up my dinner.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Ms. Chan. Okay, so let's go back. So now it's time for the public comments section, which provides an opportunity to address the Planning Commission on items not listed on the agenda. The Planning Commission welcomes your comments and requests that speakers present their remarks in a respectful manner. Speakers wishing to address the Planning Commission should limit their comments to 3 minutes. And just a reminder that this is strictly for public comments, not on the agenda. So if you're looking to make comments on the first item or the second item of the agenda, please wait. There will be public comment sections for those items specifically. And now, Ms. Chan, if you could moderate the comment portion of the public comments.
Thank you, Chair. If you wish to speak and you are using the Zoom application, please click the raise hand button. If you are dialing in, press *9 to raise your hand on the phone and use *6 to unmute yourself when called to speak. If you are streaming the meeting through Zoom on your computer but dialing in via phone, please mute yourself so that there is no feedback sound during the meeting. If there is disruptive feedback or excessive noise during the meeting, your audio will be disabled. Okay, Chair, at this time we have one hand up raised, and that is Renee. Renee, please unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure, was this the public comments for the items not on the agenda?
No. Sorry, go ahead, Ms. Chan.
I'm sorry, Chair. Sir, this is the time to speak on items that are not on the agenda.
Not on the agenda. My bad on that. Sorry, y'all.
Okay, very good. If you could mute yourself, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so it looks
Chair,
like.
Yeah, at this time, there's nobody else has raised their hand.
Okay, yeah, I figure people are waiting for the items this evening. Okay, so let us move on to item agenda number 1. For the first agenda, it is a proposed development with 176 affordable. First of all, I want to close the public comment period if I didn't do that already. Forgive me. So we'll move on to item number 1. The proposed development with 176 affordable housing units and an approximately 36,000 square foot school on the southern portion of parcel group 3, located north of Tennyson Road between 16th Street and the future La Vista Park. Assessor parcel numbers. Do I need to read out the assessor parcel numbers? Joe?
You can.
You don't need to read.
Okay, thank you. So between 16th Street and the future La Vista Park, requiring approval of site plan review, administrative use permit, and density bonus application 202001594. With Eden Housing as the applicant on behalf of the city of Hayward, the property owner, and this has been continued, I believe, since from the July 8th meeting. And before we go to the staff presentation, I wanted to recognize 2 commissioners on this item. And the first one is Commissioner Bonilla.
Thank you, Chair Roche. After consultation with the city attorney's office, I have to recuse myself from voting on this item because I live within 500 feet of the project site. So it's due to this proximity that I will not be weighing in or participating in this decision tonight.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Bonilla.
Thank you.
We'll see you after this item.
Sounds good.
Great. And Commissioner Stevens, you also had something to say.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to disclose that I regularly coordinate and collaborate with the preparer of the CEQA addendum, LSA and Associates, but I do not believe it poses a conflict of interest, so I will hear this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Okay, let's move forward. I believe Associate Planner Blanton will be presenting to us this evening.
Okay, great. Let me try and share my screen. Oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. Can somebody please give me appropriate permissions?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, are we looking at a PowerPoint screen? Okay, great. Seeing nods. Let me go into our slideshow. Okay. Good evening, Commissioners. Elizabeth Blanton, Senior Planner. The item we'll be reviewing this evening is a site plan review, administrative use permit, and density bonus application for an affordable housing and school development project. The location of the proposed development is on one of the city-owned sets of 238 properties known as Parcel Group 3, which is located just north of Tennyson Road and east of 16th Street. Previously, in 2018, the City Council authorized the city to enter into an exclusive negotiating rights agreement with Eden Housing and the Pacific Companies based on their proposal to construct a minimum of 150 affordable housing units and a public community school on the Parcel Group 3 properties. So as you'll see in the slides that follow, the proposed project directly aligns with this council-approved concept. This map shows the location of Parcel Group 3, which is a few blocks east of Mission Boulevard and north of Tennyson Road. And as you'll see by the dotted circle on this map, the proposed site is within a half mile of the South Hayward BART station, as well as the future La Vista Park, which is a 50-acre park currently in the development pipeline. Sorry, I'm in the office. That's my phone ringing. Other surrounding development and land uses include single-family development to the northwest and multifamily development to the west and south. While the entire parcel group is just over 28 acres in size, the developable portion of the land is quite a bit smaller due to significant environmental constraints across much of the site. As you can see from this map, which I should mention has shifted our perspective now from the previous slide, as the north arrow is now pointing to the left, there are fault traces, landslide areas, and steep topography across the majority of the northern and eastern portions of the site. So as a result, the only part of the property left upon which to actually develop this conceptual program that the council approved is that southwest corner. So shifting our perspective again, once again with north facing up, the red dotted line on this figure shows the approximate location of the proposed development. And as I mentioned previously, this parcel group is 28.5 acres in size and is owned by the city. The proposed buildings for the residential and school portions of the project are clustered toward the southwest corner, while a thin strip of surface parking extends to the north. Here we can also see that direct connection with the site that the site will have with the trails, ball fields, and numerous amenities planned as part of the future La Vista Park. And in fact, the remainder of parcel group 3 land that's not being used as part of this development will be transferred to the city as part of the development agreement with Eden and the Pacific companies. And this allows for a significant expansion of La Vista Park, which will extend the park downhill to provide more direct park access to the existing residential neighborhoods along East 16th Street.
All right, point of personal privilege. I had my eyes dilated today. I'm having trouble reading the slides. Can you make them a bit bigger?
I have it as full screen on my screen, so I'm not sure I have the option to make it bigger. I believe there was a version of the PowerPoint emailed to planning commissioners. So I'm happy to pause for a second if you want to open that instead.
Don't worry, go on. I'll catch up with you. I'll open that. Thank you.
Okay, apologies, Commissioner Akenda, for the small text. Let's see. So parcel group 3 falls within the open space, medium density residential, and single family residential zoning districts. However, the proposed development, as we can see by that red dotted line, is exclusively within the medium density residential zoning district, which allows for multifamily residential development and schools with the approval of an AUP. Additionally, the entire site is located within the Hayward Foothills Trail Special Design Overlay District, known as SD7. And really the purpose of this district is to ensure the development of a continuous bike and pedestrian trail as the various 238 properties are developed. Finally, parcel group 3 also has multiple land use designations in the Hayward general plan, though the property boundary again is located entirely within the limited medium density residential designation. Here, hang on, sorry, I'm operating 2 screens at once. Here we can see the proposed site plan. There are 2 5-story residential buildings that are proposed, which are highlighted here in red. And the buildings will house a total of 176 affordable rental units, which include moderate, low, and very low income units. The unit sizes will range from studios up to 3-bedroom units to provide flexibility for households of various sizes. And there are a total of 183 dedicated parking spaces for the housing portion of the site, as well as the potential for shared parking with the school after hours and on weekends. The school facility is split into 2 components, a standalone 2-story elementary school building and an approximately 11,000 square foot early education center on the ground floor of residential building B. There are 50 dedicated parking spaces for the school use, and I'll go into more detail on the program of the proposed school later in the presentation. There will be 3 vehicular access points to the site. Residents will access the site primarily from 16th Street via 2 separate entry points, and school users, including parents dropping off and picking up, will only be able to access the site via Tennyson. Keeping the school traffic separate from the residential traffic will help to minimize the impacts of school drop-off and pickup on residents of the proposed housing development, as well as on the existing residents living along 16th Street. In addition to vehicular access, the proposed development provides pedestrian and bike connections to the high-quality trails of the future La Vista Park, which is kind of shown in this inset map here. The developer will be paying their fair share of the cost of the construction of the portion of the Hayward Foothills Trail immediately adjacent to the project site through the future La Vista Park property, which will satisfy the requirements of the SD7 zoning overlay district. Additional pedestrian and bike connections are provided to Mission Boulevard and the nearby South Hayward BART station via a new stairway down to Tennyson, as well as street access from the northern parking lot area. So the following renderings show what the proposed development would look like. This view, taken from the southwest corner of the project site, shows the 2 residential buildings, each of which are 5 stories tall. The building design features a mix of materials and sleek modern colors to provide visual interest. This view is taken from the other side of the residential buildings, and between the buildings is a courtyard area with a small playground that is just out of view of this image, but it'll have seating areas, playground equipment, and then there'll be 2 fire access stubs which kind of go into the middle of that courtyard area, which allow for adequate access to both of the residential buildings in case of emergency. This view from the roundabout shows what the proposed school building will look like. It's a 2-story structure which uses varied planes and materials. It has a prominent awning and a gentle color palette. There will be 2 school play areas located on either side of the building, one of which will include an outdoor eating area and a small amphitheater space. From Tennyson and Mission, the project maintains a relatively low profile thanks to the positioning of the school building closest to that steep embankment along Tennyson Road. And as you can see here, the proposed 5-story residential buildings are clustered adjacent to existing 3-story residential buildings, which are the yellow structures you see in this image. From 16th Street, again, we can see the proposed residential structures are adjacent to existing multifamily development. Across from the lower density single family development along 16th Street, which is like approximately where we're standing in this view, is a low scale surface parking lot and trails and greenery from that La Vista Park extension. And now if we imagine we're standing in the future park, the development would be visible from some portions of the park, but as you can see, in no way would it block the park's stunning views of the city, the bay, and the peninsula beyond. So as part of their entitlement application, the applicant is requesting a density bonus for the project. And specifically, and as permitted by the state's density bonus law, the applicant is requesting a density increase of approximately 19%. Given the site's proximity to South Hayward BART, state law would actually allow unlimited density for this project. So the requested 19% density increase is somewhat modest by comparison. The project is also requesting a height increase of 23 feet for the residential buildings from the 40 feet, which is allowed by right in the RMB4 zoning district. And again, this is also permitted by state density bonus law, which affords density bonus projects an additional 33 feet or 3 stories in height to help accommodate those additional units. As you'll recall from earlier in the presentation, the residential portion of the project has 183 dedicated parking spaces for the 176 units. And this actually far exceeds the maximum of 0.5 parking spaces per unit that the city can legally require for density bonus projects that are located within a half mile of BART and provide at least 20% of units as affordable to low-income households. So finally, the project is entitled to 4 concessions or incentives per state density bonus law, but it's requesting 3. The first is a reduction in the required amount of open space, which is especially appropriate here, given the close proximity to La Vista Park. The second is a reduction in the rear yard setback, which is due to the tight site constraints. And the third is reduced compliance with the city's REACH code requirements for EV charging infrastructure, which we'll go over in a little bit more detail in a couple of slides. So as the commission is aware, the state adopted new legislation in 2019, which states that if a housing development project, including mixed use projects like this one, complies with the objective standards of the general plan and zoning ordinance, the project must be approved by the city. So this new legislation, known as SB 330, specifies that the use of a density bonus and the related incentives, concessions, or waivers does not make a project ineligible. So in looking at the objective standards for this project, we can see that the proposed development meets all of them, in some cases using the density bonus allowances permitted by state law. And that